Members of Parliament are scheduled to vote today on the Section 89 independent panel report on the Phala Phala farm saga. Yesterday, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Newzroom declined the second request from the African Transformation Movement for a secret ballot when voting happens today. Let's take you live to Cape Town now, bring in our reporter Athi Mtongana, who's not too far from where the sitting will take place. Athi, tell us what's happening there now.
A very good afternoon. It's 12 o'clock. The bells have just rang here at Cape Town. Of course, at 12 o'clock, we hear the 12 o'clock sound bells ring, indicating that we are entering into the afternoon and therefore drawing nearer to 2 p.m. when parliamentarians, particularly members of the National Assembly, will be convening a special sitting where they'll be considering the Section 89 independent panel of experts report on the Phala Phala saga. We've already spoken to the ATM, which is the reason why we're here, and they are indicating that they're confident on how the numbers will pan out, considering the fact that there will be an absence of some ANC MPs in the House this afternoon. Now, I want to bring in the opposition party, the official opposition party, the Democratic Alliance. I'm joined by Siviwe Kwahube. Thank you for your time. So the ATM already indicating that with numbers, the absence of other ANC MPs might work in the favor of opposition parties. What do you make of that?
Look, I think, Athi, for us, our first prize is to implore members of Parliament to do the right thing. For us is to implore members of Parliament to remember that we took an oath of office, and that today, why we are here today. Today we're not here to impeach a president. Today we are here to finish and conclude our own process that gave rise to an independent panel report. And so before we start talking about the numbers and internal in the ANC, we're going to be imploring members of the ANC to do what is right, to do what we think should be the next step.
I want to interrupt you there, if you don't mind, because we already know what has been said, at least by the highest decision-making body of the ANC, the NEC, saying that they should vote against the adoption of the report.
What a pity that the governing party has given an instruction to its entire caucus in Parliament, again making a mockery of the sense that this is an independent arm of the state and that instructions are received elsewhere from members of the executive who obviously have an interest in how this process unfolds. And so it's deeply unfortunate for us. And so when it comes to the numbers, I mean, the DA will be voting, as you know, in favor of the motion to establish an impeachment inquiry. We think that this would have been a perfect opportunity for a president who claims his innocence to want an impeachment inquiry that would get to the bottom of some of these allegations, so that he himself can know that he walks away knowing that it has been disproven. However, if the ANC is unsure of the innocence of the president and the president himself is uncertain of his own story, then we're going to have a scenario where this is likely going to be drawn out, this is likely going to be a battle politically. Ours is not an interest in the political machinations of the ANC. They're a political party on their own. Their political battles are on their own. Ours is to implore members, like my colleague here, imploring him to say, do the right thing. Follow your oath of office and do what is expected of you as a member of Parliament.
All right, thank you so much for your time. The Chief Whip of the Democratic Alliance talking to Faiz, appealing to this ANC MP, Faiz Jacobs. Thank you so much for your time. She's imploring you to vote according to the Constitution, but at the same time, we know what the NEC has said, and we believe that there was a caucus this morning before the sitting.
Yeah, look, I just came out to come support the Women's League of the Western Cape in support of our president. Look, I think we can't take our instructions from the Democratic Alliance, with all due respect. They are a minority party and they don't represent the will of our people. I think our caucus have spoken, our leadership collective has spoken, and as a disciplined and loyal member of the African National Congress, we know what we need to do.
What was the mood of the meeting in the caucus this morning? Because we know there's already ANC MPs that publicly have spoken against the decision of the NEC.
Look, I think the mood was jubilant. The ANC is a broad church, so we make noise, we sing, we dance, and we had a few of our struggle freedom songs just to show our unity and strength. And I think for us today, we will demonstrate our collective resolve to support the president.
To to support the president based on looking thoroughly at that report, I presume?
Look, I think there is a review happening, and so I think it's premature, and we're not going to fall into the machinations of opposition politics. I mean, this call for impeachment is going nowhere slowly. There's no reason, no rationale for all of this. So I think it's...
Do you feel that the president does not or may not have violated the Constitution and perhaps he does not have a case to answer?
Look, I mean... it's not for me to judge. I think there's still processes unfold. Our president has very clearly said that he subjects himself to the Constitution. He's one of our founders of the Constitution, by the way. So, I mean, he's a constitutionalist at heart. And we, even though we as the African National Congress, we wrote the Constitution. We're defending the Constitution. So it's very rich coming from the DA. They continue to maintain white privilege. They continue to be anti-transformation. So we don't take our orders from them. We take our orders from the collective of the people through the African National Congress.
All right, thank you so much for your time, Faiz Jacobs. You can continue walking off. I can tell you he's walking to the ANC Women's League in the Western Cape, the ANC, which is out here in support, demonstrating in favor of President Cyril Ramaphosa. We understand that there's also another protest that is, of course, against the president of the ANC, even though we believe that that group are actually members of the ANC. We know how divided the ANC, and later on we'll be in discussion with the chief whip of the ANC to talk to us about what exactly they deliberated this morning just ahead of the sitting, because we already know that there are ANC MPs who have publicly spoken against the decision of the NEC, which is to vote against the adoption of the Section 89 independent panel's report. Back to you, Tembekile, in studio.